Time, the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is absolutely incredible to be with you guys. It's Tuesday morning for a John and Wayne show, and by far the best part of this show is none other than Wayne Breezy. How you doing, Wayne?
I can't be the best part of the show. It starts with John, and then you add a little Wayne, but I'm doing great. I'm starting to feel revived. I've been taking a little hiatus from the content creating, doing more musical venues and things like that. This is that time where I try to ramp up because once August and September gets here, John, we go full Monty.
We got like 1 month left of this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which
So-
I don't mind it. Like
I-
it's refreshing because I'm able to kind of jump out a little bit and pay attention to the nostalgia stuff. We're doing the
see.
1994 watch parties, all this kind of stuff. We're going to be talking about some of the greatest, number 15 and number 16 ever for the 49ers today. It's kind of refreshing, but I'm constantly being pulled back to where the 49ers are today, right?
That's the only thing.
Just when I
think
thought I was out, they
Yeah.
pulled me back in.
it's what's relevant, and there's that question mark of the unknown that we are dying and eager to know, and we just won't know until we know. Like, how about that?
Yeah, I
that's
like
kind of
that.
what it comes down to.
Now, today's going to be fun because one of my favorite things to do, you guys know this, whenever I host the show on Tuesdays, I want to send Wayne through the gauntlet. You know what I mean? It's like I always want to see what this guy knows because he's right. He's right all the time. And so for me, I'm selfish. I want to know these things. So I've got a whole bunch of questions that we're going to be going through today on the 2023 Niners. And then on Fridays, whenever I'm on his show, that's when things get a little more crazy. It's a little more wild over there. Just going to be real.
I can tell you right now, that's when you go nose hole barred on my show, and I love it. I love the real John. Not saying that you're not real now, but that's when you just get to kick off your shoes, relax your feet, and have a good old time.
Love all the hashtag CCs, all the hashtag BBs. The community is incredible. We got Clayton, the mad scientist, behind the scenes today. So get your questions in. I've got a whole bunch to get through on our script. We're just going to keep tagging these questions, and we'll be pulling them up as we go through this. But I want to kind of bracket this whole episode with positive, nostalgic conversation. So we're going to start with number 15. Who is the best ever number 15 just for the 49ers? I don't care what anybody does when they leave, just what they did wearing the red and gold, scarlet and gold. It's scarlet and gold, right? Am I saying that wrong? I like red and gold.
It's red to me. That's going to always be red.
There we go.
Why is there 85 shades of red? It's just red.
There's a lot. There's a lot. But as you will learn, and as the emails, my headphones and my red 49ers hats usually are a little bit
reds.
off.
Well, here's why. There's apple red, cherry red, fire engine red, scarlet red, ruby red, grapefruit red, even though I think that's orange. There's just so many, shades. There's 50 shades of red.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. You could have a whole spinoff.
That's a show.
Look at that. 50 Shades of Red. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. So here we go. There's really only three people I don't even think this is really a competition. You've got Michael Crabtree, Pierre Garçon, and Juwan Jennings. These are really the only three to make the cut. So I want to spend just a little bit of time. Michael Crabtree is he's had the most prolific career out of all of these guys, because when you look at Pierre Garçon and Juwan Jennings, they both only played 2 years. But Pierre Garçon played such a huge pivotal role. He was kind of the very first big free agent that we overpaid for, like in 2017. Do you remember? Because it was him, Kyle Juszczyk. Yeah.
They all got paid.
They did.
And shout out to Kyle Juszczyk for being the only one to find a way to remain healthy and find a way to make his worth on this roster till this day. He's the last of them of that era.
And you know what's going to be weird? I don't even like putting this into motion. When we get to the best number 44 of all time, that's
That's
going to
tough,
be
man.
hard. I don't even want
I
to. I don't like it.
There's only two
Mm,
that I
I don't
would
like
put
it.
in there.
I know, but like
But Rathman
Rathman
was
was
the next.
everything.
So Rathman was a fullback. Kyle Juszczyk is a all
He's
back.
different. He's
I
different.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
can't
we'll
wait
do
till we
that
get
later.
to that. Yeah.
So Pierre Garçon, couple things, came in 2017, only played 2 years. And what I don't remember, I remember him getting injured with the neck the second
Neck
year.
injury. Yeah.
He only played in 8 games each year he was with us.
Yeah.
Here, the greatest is the first 8 games Pierre was on pace for 1,000 yards before he got hurt, missed the second half. Yes, he had 500 yards exactly through 8 games. I mean, he was awesome. But
I mean, good guy, right? Good player, new Kyle system. And that was cool, right? Like he knew the system, not Kyle, but he knew our system.
Right.
And it was really cool to have him come in here. And he was like a breath of fresh air, right? Unfortunately, we got him toward the end of his tenure, the career, to where like he was kind of wearing his body down. But man, he made some dope catches, man. Like
those slants,
the slants, man. It's like the slant god, right? But I mean, unfortunately, he just couldn't stay. He wasn't durable. And then when I look at Michael Crabtree, started off injured, got healthy at the right time. I thought Crabtree was a pretty darn good wide receiver. I wouldn't have him like as a top 50 wide receiver ever, but he was pretty good for the 49ers once he kind of got over the hump. I wonder what it would have been like if he had a more well-rounded type of quarterback. Remember,
it was a dominant run-heavy scheme.
it was super run-heavy, bro. And then it was like, on top of that, how many OCs did he go through during his tenure here? And a lot of people are like, oh, wide receivers just got to go out and catch the ball. Nah, it's not that. It's not that simple, because we notice in Kyle's system, your wide receivers, not only do you have to know how to catch, you better know how to block, or you wouldn't even get an opportunity to catch. So for Crabtree, I thought he played pretty darn well. And then there's third and Juwan. Like, I don't think there's any wide receiver that convert. I was going through film like today. I finally opened. I had to blow dust off the VHS tapes, right? I'm going through this thing, and I'm like, yo, this kid doesn't get enough props because he's not asked to do much. He's a role player, but man, do they ask him to convert third and longs. Never mind third and Juwan. I'm talking third and 14s, 15s, 17s, sometimes 20s. And it's just like he converts them. He finds a way. Not the best route runner, not the best hands, obviously. But on third down, I put my money on Juwan Jennings every single time. You could throw it in the dirt, he's coming up with the catch. You could throw it high, he's going up to get it. You can put him on a slant. You can line up him in the slot. There's so many things he does, but it only happens on third down. I thought I saw a second down one too, but he's a third down genius, I guess. That's what I want to call him.
They don't like doing 11 personnel very often, which 11, one tight end,
one tight end, one running back,
3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Juwan only comes in on sub packages. Like his playing time's not like, whatever. Like here, I can pull this up now because I think this is interesting. The amount of snaps that Juwan gets, it's not a lot. Let's see here. Juwan Jennings, he played 489 snaps. Okay. To put that into perspective, Ayuk had 1,001.
Yeah, like he splits the third option. And that doesn't mean even at the wide receiver spot, right? Because when we're saying third option, it could be running backs. We got 2 backs on the field, and he's the guy in there on third down, right? And then it's just like, who are you gonna go to? But here's the thing: on third downs, he finds ways to consistently get open. He's usually left 1-on-1, and you know what? I never really thought about this, John, but he wins his 1-on-1 battles. I don't really give a freak what he does in practice. In the game, he wins those battles. And that's why you see him get and convert those third and longs or third and Juwans. That's an interesting take. I know people probably aren't looking at him like that, but you're right. He's not getting the reps, but he's also not a number 1. He's not a number 2. He's an option guy. And for an option guy, he's a role player, in my opinion. And then from that perspective, when he's called on, he answers the call.
Clutch.
So like if you ask me this question, who was the best in 15? That's the question you're asking me. It's tough because I'm going to say, well, who had the best career? Then
That's
it's Crabtree.
100%.
But who's the most impactful? It was going to be Garcon, but he couldn't stay healthy. But clearly the 49ers, and they be dumb third downs, right, John? We get a
3rd and 15.
3rd and 15. And how do we get there? Oh, holding. Daniel Brunskill, holding, clipping, pushing the back, punched in the nostril, Mike McGlinchey. It'd be something stupid. It'd be like we get a first down run for 9 yards, then you get the holding, then you get another call, and next thing you know, you just got to give it to Jauan Jennings and he converts it. Doesn't matter if it's Jimmy, didn't matter if it was Brock, and it didn't matter if it was Trey Lance. Like, that's what he does. He just converts third down.
He had 35 receptions this year. 24 of those went for a first or a touchdown. 24 out of 35 receptions.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, way higher than I thought it would have been.
Wait. Let me say that again.
So he had 35 catches during the regular season.
Uh-huh.
And 24 of those went for a first down or a touchdown. I mean, he sticks, man. Sticks.
And again, the question going into 2023 for a player that's playing for what, $700,000 this year?
I think 900 was
900,000.
RFA.
I'm sorry. Then what is going to be his role again? It's going to be exactly the same.
Now, here's one thing that I missed this whole offseason. I just want to apologize to all the listeners because I've been given incorrect information. Jauan Jennings comes out his first year. He had the hamstring, gets cut, brought back to practice squad. That does not count as an accrued season. Jauan Jennings has 2 accrued seasons. You cannot become an unrestricted free agent until you have 4. Which means Jauan Jennings is going to be on the Niners next year, whether he likes it or not. Period. He does not get to negotiate or hit the open side of the market. Cannot do that. So I thought we only had him this year. I was wrong.
No, when I tell you that that's bullcrap too, by the way. But when I tell you that Kyle Shanahan is a genius manipulator, he just understands. How do you say it? If I had to go to court, then I'm going to hire Kyle Shanahan as my defense attorney because he finds the loopholes in the rules. And that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. We don't even know what that injury is to this day. Do you remember that injury?
It was a hamstring.
It was some bull crap injury.
You don't miss a year for a hamstring. You don't miss a year for a hamstring. They stashed him. That's what it was.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. And for that, you have to have this affinity for our head coach, right? Because they when they like players, they will find a way to stash you.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, man. So real quick, I want to put a little bow on this, just some metrics, some numbers, some stats for all 3 of these players. Jauan Jennings, in his time with the Niners, 59 receptions, 698 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay, 2 seasons, Pierre Garcon, 64 receptions, 786 yards, 1 touchdown. Pierre only scored once.
Yeah, it's tough.
Now Crabtree, all right. Crabtree's different. Did you know that Crabtree only had 1 1,000-yard season with us?
Just one.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm not a Crabtree fan. I hated him at Tech. I hated him in Dallas.
I've
met him multiple times. Can't stand the man. Don't like the way he treats kids. And he broke my heart as a Longhorn. I got to put that out there. Probably one of the best
because he went to Texas Tech.
Yeah. Well, he made that catch at the sideline and squeezed down and knocked us out of the national championship.
Yeah, the only time he caught a ball. But here's the thing, so I liked Crabtree, but and I wanted to really like him because he was a first-round pick, and then
we got a steal on him. Well, we should have got him.
He had a bum foot. Remember?
Yeah.
It was a Trent Baalke pick, man.
He's a baller.
But here's the thing, he started to grow on me, and so it was just and then he just didn't have the reach in the Super Bowl. He just didn't have it. It just wasn't there.
If he made one of those plays, just one of those, then it'd be different.
He'd be the second to third greatest receiver of 49ers history.
He's 12th all time for receiving yards right now.
Maybe 4th, because it would be, to me, it's Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, John Taylor, and then maybe Crabtree would have been in that conversation.
Okay.
under and then Dwight Clark probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So all time, he's 12th for the 49ers receiving yards.
See?
This is what's crazy to me. Kittle has played in 3 fewer games. Kittle's played in 3 fewer games. He has 900 more receiving yards and 5 more touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
Different players, different dynamic. Crabtree wasn't a yak guy. He was like a Kendrick Bourne speed guy.
Yeah,
but
slow.
He was
That's what that means. He was slow.
I was gonna say it.
He didn't want to be a Niner. I agree with that, Eddie. Yeah. Well said.
Well, we knew that once he where he chose to go. But here's the thing. Look, like I said, career-wise, Crabtree gets the nod. He has the stats. You go with a 1,000-yard guy. Impact guy, though, a guy that I can count on. Couldn't count on Crabtree. A guy that I could count on, though, it was Juwan. And remember, Crabtree was a number 1 receiver. Juwan Jennings I could count on as a number 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the option is, and depending on the personnel you put out there on the field. And so I'm going with Juwan Jennings here, man. Like, and it's not because he's most recent. I just feel he has the most impact as a 49er.
I am not mad at you. I love it. Fun conversation. All right. Yeah. We're going to jump to this year, 2023 now. And I want to kind of bounce back and forth offense, defense, because I don't want either to feel neglected. So we just talked offense. So let's go defense. Last year, Fred Warner led the 49ers in tackles with 130 tackles. Barely beat Greenlaw with 127. And you got to remember, Greenlaw missed 2.5 games.
Yes, sir.
So who leads the 49ers in tackles this year? Is it one of these two cats, which I think most think it is, or is it a dark horse, somebody that comes up from, Tashawn Gibson or Talanoa? They had a lot of tackles last year as well. It's one of these two, right?
It's definitely going to be your linebackers, and it's going to be Greenlaw. Greenlaw can have it's the role though, so you got to understand like the role, right? And so like to me, Greenlaw as that weak side guy, he'll be the guy asking to chase down more people. But here's it's going to be Greenlaw. Greenlaw would have been in the 157s. And that's you can only be 157 too, by the way. But he would have been in the 150s had he not had those 2.5 games missed on last season. And I love Fred Warner, and this has nothing to do with him being a great tackler or not. He gets the tackles, but you got to remember, being a middle linebacker for the 49ers is tough because you're asked to not stop the run but play the pass, right? And so. For a middle linebacker, not your typical standard type of middle linebacker like your Patrick Willis's or your Navarro Bowman's or those type of guys, like Fred Warner is doing the damn thing. But I'm telling you, Greenlaw he's gonna be in the 150 numbers.
And again, throw in the chat some of you guys, like, who do you think is going to lead in tackles, Warner, Greenlaw, or somebody else? But one of the things that's interesting, and I hope this carries on, I'm sure it will, is that Fred Warner, he's not the true Mike all the time. What they do is it's an abbreviated hybrid role. If it's an early rundown, Warner's Mike. You'll see him right in the middle, right? Mike means middle. But then on passing downs, he converts to the will responsibilities. The will linebacker is the one that runs vertical with trips and all that stuff. And so they switch quite often. If it's a passing down, they want Greenlaw going horizontal or downhill.
Correct.
They want Warner dropping back deep, which we saw him like blanket CeeDee Lamb in the playoffs. Oh, maybe one of the best linebacker plays.
And this is why my good friend, I'm going with Greenlaw here with a healthy season to surpass that. Now, like I said, it'll be in the 150s for sure. And it's because they definitely utilize Fred Warner more in coverage.
I like that. Now, Josh said it'd be Warner because Dre Greenlaw is going to miss time, and Dre Greenlaw has missed time. His rookie year, he played all 16 games. Sophomore year, he played 13. Last year, he only played 3, 2021, and then this year he missed 1 game, 1.5 games. So he appeared in 15, but now there's 17 games, so that's why it's different there. Yeah, so we'll see. The crazy thing for me is they extended Greenlaw after he only played in 3 games in 2021.
And they extended Greenlaw after like the first worst game of his career, even though he led that team in tackles in that Chicago Bears game. But he also got those 2 roughing the passer penalties or whatever personal foul calls,
Yeah.
and it was just like dang. And then they gave him the extension. It was awesome. It was,
You remember when we used to argue all the time? Not really argue all the time, but the debate was Aziz versus Dre.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
kept saying Greenlaw. You kept saying Greenlaw, but
Yeah, I
it
was
made
Team
sense
Greenlaw early.
because you want those because Greenlaw. As much as I love Aziz, Greenlaw adds another dynamic. Why? Because if they do what you just said, which they do, if they needed to drop Greenlaw back into coverage, then he could do that as well. So Greenlaw is also a better coverage linebacker than Aziz, and Aziz doesn't see the field as much as those guys because those guys add those 2 dynamics to their game. They have speed, they can cover, they can tackle. Though Aziz might have been the best tackler on the field, we played a lot of nickel because there were a lot of 3 wide receiver sets out there, and that's what the league is getting into now. And get used to seeing 2 linebackers. You better make sure you got a dope nickel back.
Yep. Now, one thing I am excited about non-Niners is watching Aziz play for Tennessee. That's a good defense. That's a good defense. And so I really hope he goes out and like leads the NFL in tackles. I love Aziz. I miss Aziz.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for him. I'm excited. And yeah, I think that this is an awesome point, Josh. He says Hargraves in the middle, both linebackers will improve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The whole purpose of getting a guy like Hargrave and even having Kinlaw when he's healthy is so that those guys can soak up those blocks on the offensive line. This allows the linebackers when they're playing downhill to fill those gaps, man. And when they don't have to get hit on that second level by a big lineman and they're able to just get to that gap, man, they lay the pop. So you might even see some more pop going on from our linebackers. And you asked about a dark horse. We got some young guys that are going to make this squad, and this is good. This is good. This is good because they are going to fly around and definitely lay some wood down there. You got D. Winters, you got Jalen Graham. We'll see how this all works out once training camp hits. My guy is Marcelino McCrary Ball, one of your hybrid linebacking safety combo guys, a little on the shorter side, but you know, his read and reaction is there. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Like, you know, it's gonna be interesting.
Now, Kim, what's up, Kim? All the way from across the pond. He says, Greenlaw has 0 guaranteed money after 23. Could he be a cap casualty after the season? No. Greenlaw is a super value contract right now. You could trade him for a lot, like a lot. Move the Sticks podcast. They were ranking the top 10 linebackers. And I think they had Aziz at like 6, right? That's Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, great podcast. But like this dude, he's on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
Niners going to do everything they can to keep him on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like it's the opposite of a cap casualty because his number's so low. God, the front office nailed it with him.
I'm telling you that it's a different era for us, you know.
Oh, look at Boss. What's up, man? He says Hufanga and Brown could lead in tackles in this Wilk defense. I don't think this year. I think that could be a statement for 2024, 2025, maybe. And I've been screaming from the rooftops. The number 1 player that gained the most from Steve Wilkes coming over, Talanoa
Hufanga. Oh. It's funny that you say him, and I like that, right? But I think it's more of the cornerbacks. I think Diamador Lenore gains the most. I think guys like Ambry Thomas and them young cornerbacks. I mean, they drafted a dog at cornerback. I keep talking about Darrell Luter Jr. I mean, these are guys that can learn the technique, the right way to play football from a DB coaching perspective. You know what I'm saying? And this is what his strength is. And so, yeah, Talanoa Hufanga for sure. I always see him trending upwards opposed to trending down. And I know a lot of people say toward the end of that season, like middle of the season, he started on a downward slope.
Not in the playoffs, he didn't.
I digress. It's a marathon, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a race. And so the cool thing is you want to start off fast. You want to kind of mellow out. And then you want to hit that NOS button. And that's when the playoffs happen. And that's when he was back. But that also comes down to confidence and communication. And that, to me, is his only issue. Like, if he in year 3 is starting to show that he's the boss, that's going to be a problem.
I like it. What's up, Johan? Live from Ireland. I love it, man. Let's do a real quick roll check in on the chat. Let us know where you're listening from or watching from. Go ahead and throw that up in the chat. We'll get to some of those here in a little bit. All right, now let's flip to the offensive side. The 49ers leader in receptions the last 4 years, okay? You had this year was Brandon Ayuk. 2021 was Debo. 2020 was Ayuk. 2019 was Kittle. If you had to put your money on somebody leading the team in receptions, CMC's got to be in there somewhere. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle.
CMC won't lead the team in receptions.
You're not liking it?
Nah. He's gonna see too many carries. That would take away from it. Nah, it wouldn't be CMC, and I don't think it'd be Debo ever again either. The Debo thing was something new, and they implemented it because they needed to find a spark. And I mean, you go give Debo a 1-yard pass or a screen pass, and he was taking it to the.
Hold on, I gotta jump in here. Christian McCaffrey had 52 catches with the 49ers last year.
Mm-hmm.
Debo had 56. Kittle had 60. Remember, CMC didn't show up till halfway through the year.
I know, John, but I think that mellows out. I think that was overload on CMC because they needed him. And I think now that you're going to get a healthy Debo, in shape Debo, you got the Kittle that can catch now, and Brandon Ayuk's going to take off. Right? I really feel like he's literally going to take off. And so it doesn't matter. Like, as long as we're productive, putting up points, I don't care who it is. But at the end of the day, I think CMC stays around. He might clip that 60 number. He might clip the 60 receptions, maybe. But I think there's going to be more receptions. I think there's going to be a lot more passing and then running. So I'm not going to put CMC as the leader. I think it's got to be Brandon Ayuk. I just really feel like it's going to be BA.
I think they want it to be Brandon Ayuk, right? I think if Kyle and Brian Greasy and the offensive coaches could all pick, you know what I mean? They want it to be him.
He can get open, John.
Now, last year, receptions per game, okay? Brandon Ayuk, 4.6. CMC, 4.7.
See, it's not fair because the check down. See, that's that bull crap, right?
They're not real runs. They're passes. They're not real passes.
But they are, but they're not. But they're counted as a pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for BA, it'll be harder. For George Kittle, it'll be harder to get those numbers because there's gonna be times where whoever's playing quarterback is gonna just be like dumpy dump and let them do their thing. So it's gonna be tough. It could be CMC. John could be right.
I'm not saying it's him. I'm just being a jerk. I'm just trying to.
That's not even being a jerk. I mean, you look at what makes the 49ers great. The fact that they can hit you from every angle and you just don't know which angle is going to be. They're telling you CMC could do this. They're telling you Debo could do this. They're telling you BA, George Kittle. You have to figure out which one is going to be at every given moment. And that's the hardest part. And whoever it is, they all can yak you out. They all can catch a 4-yard pass and take it to the house. That's scary. Hell, shoot, if Elijah Mitchell play, it might even be him getting some of those catches.
I love this question right here. Dan Case, what's up, man? We got a party on the East Coast. I think it was a Carolina game we were hanging out this past year. Great to see you in here, Dan. He says, when has Kyle ever planned for wide receiver 1 to actually be the focal point, though? And I think that this is a little bit Niners-centric vision because you can go back to Josh Gordon with Cleveland. You can go to Andre Johnson, one of my favorite players of all time that didn't play for the 49ers, with Houston. You can go Julio Jones with Atlanta. Like Pierre Garçon, he did it with Washington. So Kyle doesn't have a problem doing that. The problem is now we have not seen Kyle in San Francisco with a quarterback that could throw the ball deep. We haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it.
We haven't. That's true.
Probably not going to see it this year either, but
probably not. You'll get some, but anyway, Kyle's an efficient guy, and if we're talking about receptions, it doesn't matter if it's a 10-yard pass, a 1-yard pass, a 15-yard pass, a 30-yard pass. It's the catch, and you got to put some of these on these pass catchers. The 49ers have some serious pass catching guys. They don't make them pretty. They don't look pretty all the time, but they come down with the ball. And I think that's important. But to answer his question, I don't think he ever puts anybody here's my point. No one's the focal point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like if you're a wide receiver one, running back one, tight end one, like no one is the focal point.
I got a quick clip here. This was from the playoff run. This is BA himself talking about the 49ers offense. I love it. I have this one saved and it's always keyed up because I just gets me excited. So here's BA on the 49ers offense.
I think yesterday we were in the back of the room talking. We're just going through our openers, and one of our plays was getting it to George, or McCaffrey was the first read. We wanted to get him on a kind of like a choice route. And you just hear Kyle say, all right, Brock, we coming out here. We're looking at McCaffrey. He's running a choice route. If McCaffrey's not there, come to the other side. And George is running the same thing on the other side. Kittle's running the same thing on the other side. And I just looked at Hank and Debo and I said, hey, nobody gonna, like, it's really on us. Like, nobody gonna be able to stop us. Like, it's really on us. We got too many dudes. I feel bad for anybody who got a game plan against us. But at the end of the day, we still got to do what we got to do, take care of our business, and we'll be just fine.
It literally comes down to the San Francisco 49ers having a quarterback that's competent. That's it.
And we have that. Brock Purdy is beyond competent.
I'm just saying,
if that's the floor.
I'm just saying, it comes down to having a quarterback that's competent. And yes, we saw that with Brock. Do I believe Trey Lance can be that type of a competent guy? I know it's up here. It's definitely up here. The question is, can he translate what's up here to out there on the football field? See, that to me, John, though, that comfort, that confidence, that only comes with play. And so, you get a kid straight out of college that got picked last with a chip on his shoulder that comes into the system and is just going to wait. I'm waiting for my chance because once I get in, I'm going to show the world, whatever. That's Brock. But then when you get a kid like Trey, who came in, he might have had that same feeling his rookie year. But what did they do? Put him on the bench, learn behind Jimmy. It kind of made him stagnant. So we'll see. Comes down to that.
Yeah. I like it. Kali says, and what's up, Kali? He messaged me. He's coming out. I think it's Pittsburgh. Kali's coming out, which is going to be awesome.
Pittsburgh. He'll be in Pittsburgh, and he'll be in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
He says, I think our offense will carry more of the load this season. We'll be a more complimentary team. My prediction is our offense will finish top 5. I've got some questions on that one. So I'm going to hold that because I want to keep balancing this offense-defense conversation. But before we do that, stick with your complimentary thing, Kali. Let's go through roll call here, Clayton. Where are people listening from? What's up, Jason Dallas? My people, man. Behind enemy lines. We got Trey Area, Brian. I see you. San Diego. I'm going to let Wayne take some of these. He's got a lot more energy than
Gold Coast, Australia in the building. What's going on, Steve? Portland, Oregon, where it rains all the damn time. Honolulu, Hawaii. What's up, Bobo? My man Thomas from Spokane, Washington, the 509. Dan Case from the VA, baby. There's a place called Soda Springs in Idaho. I'm learning today. David is in Vancouver. You're going to learn today. Campbell, California. Shot J. How do you say that? Pueblo,
yes,
Colorado.
I love Pueblo, Colorado, by the way. Right. One of my favorite spots.
Where have I been to? Denver? I think that's it.
Yeah, we went to Denver. We had a good time.
Absolutely. Why? Not saying that. He's from Ohio. Go ahead, John.
We got Indiana. What's up? 15 miles east of Notre Dame. My son lives in Valparaiso, my oldest one. What's up? Big Papa says the 916. That's what's up. Let's see here. Compton. What's up,
Straight out of Compton. A crazy motherfucking name. Ice Cube.
San Jose. This is awesome. We don't do this as often as I'd like to.
Tennessee.
The best. Chattanooga, man. I spent a lot of summers there.
Boston in the house.
I love it. 40 Texas, the 40 Jackrabbits. That's right, man. Blue and white uniforms, I believe, if that is correct. Man, we got a lot of international listeners.
I love it, yo.
What's up? Don't bother me, Victorville. Love it. All right, let's get back to this right here. Here we go. The 49ers defense ranked first last year in these 3 categories. Total yards allowed, they were fewest. Total points allowed, fewest. And the most interceptions with 20. My question to you is, I want to not which one they're going to repeat. Which one of those are they most likely not to repeat as first in the NFL this upcoming year?
It's the interceptions. And it's only because, I mean, it takes a lot to get turnovers. It takes a lot to happen, for turnovers to exist. Number one, you need pressure up front, causing timing to be off and for quarterbacks to make the mistakes, right? Because usually interceptions come off of quarterbacks making mistakes. Quarterbacks aren't typically going to just throw the ball to the DB. Number two, it takes the DB to have some hands to catch it. So it's going to be harder for that statistical category because for it to happen. Now, the good thing, John, is they bring back two guys that had the majority of those interceptions, but they did lose Jimmy Ward, who I think had 3 or 4.
He had three,
He had
which was the
3
most he's ever had in his entire
in his career. Good point. And so, I mean, you got the team leader and Tashawn Gibson back.
He had 5.
Yep, you got Tyler Hufungo, I think, had 4.
They were early though too. He had those like first 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's 9 right there, and then you factor in, the linebacking interceptions and things like that. So look, it's I'm not saying that it can't happen. I just feel like that's the toughest one to repeat. They could finish in giving up the fewest yards or points per game and things like that. I feel like that's what they're going to do. They're going to be dominant. And with Kali's statement earlier saying that it's going to be more complimentary, if the defense can play the way they played last year, but be better, I don't know. I mean, they added more better pieces. If they could at least play at that, man, and then the offense grows and gives you 30-plus points a game, I think the offense is going to average about 32, 33 points a game this year. So it's going to be fun. That's a lot. I know it's a lot. That's crazy. I know. I'm bugging. No, I'm not. I'm not bugging. I'm not bugging at all. I don't care.
All right, I got to get my calculator out here because Pro Football Reference doesn't do this. The 49ers scored 450 points last year. You divide that by 17, they averaged 26.4. Now, if you just look at the time when Brock Purdy showed up after that Dolphins game, listen to the points they scored. This is Miami Dolphins on 33, 35, 21, 37, 37, 38, 41, 19. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I know Yep.
And I understand the whole leader in the clubhouse talk and all that stuff because you're sitting here reading through this. This is one of the most prolific offenses of all time. Yep. If you replicated that through 17 games, you're breaking records.
Here's the thing. Kyle Shanahan, when Brock Purdy entered, you saw our head coach started having fun. This is not a shot at Trey Lance. This is not a shot at Jimmy Garoppolo. They did what they were asked to do. But did you watch some of Brock Purdy's off the script plays? And so I'm going to be doing a video on my top 5 reasons why Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback in the league. And I know people are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Spicy.
Trust me. There are 5 things that he does every game, consistently. Every game that makes me feel like he's a top 5 guy. And I'm not going to let the statistics show that. I'm just saying that's his trajectory. That's his mindset, right? And so at the end of the day, man, Kyle Shanahan is out there having fun. And I think more importantly, the players are having fun. Now, can Kyle replicate that? Can Kyle still be that if Brock Purdy isn't ready to go? And I feel like he can because he just has to tap into Trey Lance and do what Trey Lance is great at doing and do what he's comfortable doing. I think Trey Lance can make unscripted plays just as well as Brock Purdy. Can he make those accurate, quick throws? I don't know. It didn't look good. Didn't look like he could. But if he's out there and he's getting those reps in there, it's going to be a problem. So the 49ers potentially have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 competent quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The word is competent, and I want people to understand I'm not asking them to be the next Aaron Rodgers, the next Patrick Mahomes. I'm asking them to be the next competent quarterback that just doesn't up, just doesn't mess up and does what they need to do and do what they need to do off script to make a play happen. And I think that's what the Niners have.
I like that. Dynamite Dave.
Dynamite! Sorry, I had to do that.
That was good.
Yeah.
He says, Kyle has been here 6 years. Have we ever had a top 3 offense? Yes, we have. He's been here. We finished 6 years, right? So in 2017, when he came in, the 49ers were 20th in points. The next year, 21st. Then our 2019 run, we were second. So we had a top 2 offense. Then the injury and all that stuff, 21st. 2021, we were 13th, and last year, 6th. So one top 3 offense, and then last year when Brock stepped in, we were at like 11 or 12, and he shot us up considerably. So yeah, good question there. Good question there.
I think a better question for you guys out there from me would be,
Giving you homework.
can the 49ers find a way to start the season off at a quicker, faster pace? Because this slow stuff, to me, is what wears them down at the end, and they kind of like run out. So, like, 2019 is when we saw the pace, right? We saw the pace. We went on we were in a stride, and when we felt like we were going to hit a speed bump, we made some changes.
They were 8-0 to start.
So that's the question. Like, can they find a way to do that? And it takes a lot for that to happen. And like Brandon Ayuk said, they just got to go out there and do it. They have the talent. And think about it. I don't know when that video was, but they have the talent, and the talent is only gotten better because now it's more matured. It's another year in the league. It's a better year and another year in the system, another year understanding the playbook, not just understanding the plays that are called, but the nuances of how the play is called. Understanding, hey, the 49er players that are here have played with at least 2 out of the 3 quarterbacks. Let that sink in. So now they understand, all right, Trey has these mannerisms, Brock has these mannerisms. It's not that learning curve anymore. Like, it's there. Now, I don't think you want to see Sam Darnold, because I think that would, to me, would be the only reason why the 49ers start off slow. There's no chemistry.
Yeah, that's well said, man. And I didn't even have a question in here, but I wanted to go through and like chart like the starts and why they were so slow. And, you get all the fire Shanahan stuff by week 6 or whatever. And then he's runner up for coach of the year. Like it's been difficult just with how slow they have started. And a lot of that's just stacked injuries at different positions. And so we've seen this offense stall because of the running backs were all injured. We've seen it whenever all the defensive tackles got injured last year. We've seen it when you've got all your tackles are injured. And so that's rough. The greatest 49 says 2019, we started strong, finished with the 1 seed, made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's what you want to do. There's no doubt about it. I had Brian McFadden on yesterday, and we did our his NFC power rankings. He had the Niners 2 and the Eagles 1. And, he basically, again, he's not a Niners guy. And he's like, it's a 2-horse race. Like, that's just what it is.
It's interesting that that people feel that way, because I would question the Niners and their power rankings. I get it. The team is stacked, but there's no solidity at the quarterback position.
That's the issue for the Niners. That's the issue for the Niners.
That's the only issue. The only issue, bro.
And if Brock Purdy's the floor, that's what I keep going back to. If that's the floor of our quarterback play, oof is right.
And I don't think people to feel like Brock Purdy. Some people don't like talking about ceilings and floors, but that's what we're gonna do. I don't even think Brock Purdy has reached his max potential. That's the crazy part, right? So, like, he hasn't even hit his ceiling. What the hell is his ceiling? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I just finished watching some Brock Purdy stuff because I'm going to be doing some videos on Brock. And I'm just like, yo, this kid is different.
I love it. Now, I only got through half of my stuff, so I want to save the second
Let's save
half.
it for Friday, John, and you run the Friday show, bro.
Oh, done and done. DUN. It's over.
Part 2, y'all, this Friday.
Ooh. Now, before we get out of here, we still got some questions from you guys, but we got to finish with the best 16 ever, okay? This one's pretty simple. I saw, look at Dave. He commented this
Dave
earlier.
is being a joke. I like those banners, though. I only have the red one, Dave. I need a white one. I would love to know where you got it from. He has 2 different white ones.
I'm just going to say this. I had the wonderful opportunity of having lunch with Dave yesterday. He came out to my neck of the woods, and we sat and talked Niners all day. It was awesome.
Nice.
And he showed me, like, he's got pictures. His man cave, he did this custom freaking – it's incredible, dude. It's
Is
one of the
Dave
coolest
the one
things I've
that
ever seen.
said, I don't remember about the 50 Shades of Gold? And it's
maybe.
There was a comment in here, and I don't know if this was Dave, but he was talking about, about the gold, and it took him, like, how many times to get it right with the paint. Gold is fun, tough, too. Because when I'm making my stuff on the thing, I'm like, I get the 49ers gold, but if the light hits it a certain way, then it's just weird.
If there's one thing I know I'm not good at, it's any type of design or creating anything, man. I am.
Understood.
It's not there. It's not there for me. That's okay. Now, there are two players that it's Joe Montana's the best 16 ever, but there was another very notable quarterback that did play for us that I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember playing for us. This is back in the 70s. Jim Plunkett, the Stanford man. He played with the Raiders forever, with the Patriots forever, but he had a 2-year stint with us in between 76 and 77. And yeah, he was all right. He went 11 and 15, 22 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. But I wanted to just give him a mention because I think he deserves it.
Okay.
But it's Joe Montana.
Hands down.
It's Joe Montana. I'm going to go through a very abbreviated list of accomplishments, okay? Real quick. Hall of Famer. 8 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. 2-time MVP, 1989 and then 1990. 4 Super Bowls, 3-time Super Bowl MVP. 1986 Comeback Player of the Year, played 13 years with the Niners, finished with a 100 wins and 39 losses, 273 touchdowns, 139 interceptions, 25 game-winning drives, 23 fourth-quarter comebacks. His playoff record with the Niners, listen to this, 14-5.
Dang.
Never threw an interception in any of the Super Bowls he played in. Joe Montana, baby. So great. I feel good now.
He was the GOAT for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But that's funny because he wasn't my GOAT.
Oh.
Like my GOAT will always be Jerry Rice.
Same.
Right.
I get he doesn't play quarterback. I get that.
It doesn't matter. Like I bet if they asked him to do it, I guarantee he would have did it well. I guarantee it. But Jerry Rice was just the person you wanted to be. Like you wanted to figure out like how did he train? How did he work out? Like if you weren't doing it like Rice, you just weren't doing it. Matter of fact, it's the only way you can beat him. You had to kind of get into his head and do what he did. Listen, Joe Montana was great, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But to me, greatest player to ever lace up them pads and cleats was Jerry Rice. I don't care what anybody says. I will argue that to this day.
I'm not arguing with you because I'm with you. Okay. We got a real quick super chat from Scott Hill, the man.
Uncle Scott's in the building.
He says, "Hey, John and Wade, will we see more press man with the new players?"
Oh yeah,
he's nodding. He's nodding up and down.
Oh yeah, man. And look at the players that we have. Like, so it's gonna be interesting to watch Deommodore Lenoir play press man, but this might be like that zone man concept. Like you might to start see, which I think they were trying to iterate last year a little bit. You know how you watch Ambry Thomas play off the guy, and you know he's gonna be playing in zone and things like that or whatever. It's going to be some interesting concepts, but definitely, man, we have bigger guys out there, guys that can utilize their hands properly. Even Mooney Ward, he was always, to me, a better press man DB. He's about to feast. This is about to be fun. Like, that's what I'm getting out of the 49ers secondary. It's about to be fun. Can't figure out a name for him yet. Maybe we'll call him the no fun zone or something. I don't know, but it's about to be fun.
I love it. Slick says Jerry Rice could still be great in Kyle's offense. Facts. 50+ years old. Facts. Put him out there.
Listen,
don't care.
There are a lot of 49er greats that are like NFL legends, but there will never. I don't care about the gritty. I don't care about Randy Moss. I don't care about Calvin Johnson. They were good, but they weren't great. And they definitely got stats to back their goodness up. But Jerry Rice was one of a kind.
I think the one stat that stands out there's several. The dude owns all the stats. He had 1,211 receiving yards when he was 40. He was 40. That is more receiving yards in a year than Michael Crabtree had at any point in his entire career.
That's ridiculous, bro.
40. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I understand.
Some people got that reference. Other people are like, why is he yelling at me?
They could put me in for one play at 42. One play. You get one play. I'll give it my all. I'm going to make a play. And then I'm coming out for the rest of the game.
There you go. I like it. All right. So now we're going to get to some questions and comments. Clayton's going to be cycling them through. 49ers throwback. Look at this. Tomorrow is Tight End University.
Thank gosh.
That's exciting because we're going to be getting clips of Trey Lance. That's fun. Isn't
Sam Darnold going to be there as well, I believe?
I don't know the answer to that.
I felt like it was another 49er. Oh, no. Ex-49er quarterback. Nick Mullins will be there.
Oh, Mullins. But, man, Kittle is like the most loyal dude. You remember
He
people
is
were
loyal,
like, Kittle
bro.
doesn't like Trey Lance.
Nah, he's loyal.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Kittle's just a good dude. Fun guy. All right, here we go. Steve-O knows the NFL says, what's going on, fellas? Just joined in. I'm going to Minneapolis for week 7. Was wondering, is there going to be any player signings, autographs for the Rush road trip like there was in Denver last year?
Think about that.
That's a Monday night game. I doubt we're going to get a player. I do want to let everybody know that we are in the works with a couple players for some events. I don't think Minnesota's going to be one. So I don't think that's going to be there just because it's that Monday night game. So travel's going to be weird. But I am excited that our tailgate, who I've been working on with the Gatton brothers, if you came to Chicago with us the last 2 years, you know what's up. That family is for real, man.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna have such a clutch tailgate and party the night before. We're gonna be having a good time. Which I just want to see that stadium, man. And I want to hear all the accents.
That's a dome, right, John?
Yeah, it's a complete and enclosed. It's solid glass. It's the U.S. Bank Stadium.
A question off the books. I'm putting you to work. How do the 49ers play under the dome? Like, what is their record?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head.
We'll save it for Friday. I'm sorry.
But I feel like the questions always come to this. So, like, you look at cold weather games, and it's like, okay, do you have a good running game? Do you have a strong defense? That's like how you play in inclement weather, right? Now, if you look at a dome game, artificial turf, you're looking at speed and offensive weapons. Guess what? Niners got that too. So I don't think, and again, Minnesota's bad this year. I understand they went 13-4 or whatever. They're selling their team. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And Minnesota's going to be a bad team this year. That's all I got to say. All right. Josh, he says, what are we thinking about Wilkes' comments on Ambry Thomas?
I like this.
This your guy.
Yeah, well, so he left it. He gave us a positive and then left it open, right? So he said, listen, like, Ambry looks good. Like, I'm re-paraphrasing it, but he says Ambry looks good. But we'll see what it looks like when he puts the pads on. That was the but.
Yep. The physicality.
But he also mentioned that for all his players too. So that's what made it a weird but. Pause. Because it was just like, yeah, he's like, right, players are good, going through the technique, going through the drills, things like that. But we'll see what happens when we add the physicality part. And I can tell you right now, Wilkes is a physical dude.
You know what I like most about Wilkes, and this is new? He's honest. Like, he will put it out. Drake Jackson, what are your thoughts on Drake Jackson? Weak, inconsistent. Like, boom, boom. All right, Ambry Thomas, gotta see with the pads. Like, he's telling everybody, like, look, this is what we want you to be. These are the very simple, and you can always tell a good coach. I would always tell my coaches, if you have to explain in paragraphs, you're not a good coach.
Right.
You've got to make it concise and quick so that players can hear and you can coach on the fly. My least favorite thing when I was coaching, when we had coaches that would overcoach and we would lose reps because they'd be constantly explaining. And I'm like, no. You do that in the film room. On the field, quick words, quick sentences. That's it. We're not coaching on the damn field. We're coaching in the film room. We're coaching in meetings, not on the field. And with Wilkes, he can tell you in 1 or 2 words what everybody needs to do, positive and negative.
Mm-hmm. That's a gift. Wilkes, man. That's a gift. Great hiring too for the Niners. Like, you lose somebody that that just helped your defense get to a whole nother level, and you bring somebody that can help your defense get to another level. So it's going to be interesting.
I like it. All right, here we go. A couple more comments before we jump out of here. 420 Savage, has Bosa reached his ceiling?
That's a good question.
Drake Jackson has a tall ceiling as well. 2 parts. Wayne, has Bosa reached his ceiling in your opinion?
No.
Pretty damn high up there, man.
No, he hasn't reached his ceiling. You got to remember, Bosa's still new to the league. He's always looking to tweak things, to improve. I think last year a lot of people saw Bosa kind of like run out of gas. And I mean, you knew it was going to happen. I mean, he was asked to produce at a high level, being double, triple teamed and all kinds of things at him and things like that. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen to other guys, but look, the dude's, he's got a bunch of tools in his toolbox, and it's good to come from a pedigree of football, if that makes sense, because you can always go back and ask your dad, is there something that you did, that I can kind of implement and make a little bit different into my game. You can always go chop it up with your brother. And so that's the coolness about that Bosa family, man. That's a football family, and they're always looking to tweak things and get better. So he's nowhere near his ceiling. I don't even know what you would ask Bosa to do differently other than nothing. Like, just
he was one sack away from the all-time 49ers
record, right? Like, just come in healthy. It's the only thing I'm asking Nick Bosa to do every freaking season. Come in healthy and find ways to stay healthy. That's it. There's nothing else. When you ask the coaches about him, they don't even care. They just
he coaches himself. He coaches himself.
Nick Bosa's doing Nick Bosa. Yep, we'll see him at training camp.
You know what's crazy? I had to look this up. He's only 25.
That dude is young. That's why I said young. That's why I said he's young. This dude's not anywhere near a ceiling. Like, he's not capped off. Yeah, that's my point. People were saying that, he's not the best defensive end in football. He's not this. He's not that. Understood. Fine. Is he as dynamic as a Myles Garrett or impactful like a Micah Parsons? Different players. Totally different players.
Different.
One
thing I want to see is once he starts getting the star level treatment, because he hasn't got that.
Get the damn calls? You mean getting holds? Yeah, that would be nice.
But now, defensive player of the year,
hopefully
going to start catching on, because he could be the face.
Oh, gosh,
what'd you say?
Yeah. He about to get some money.
He is. And once he gets paid, that's whenever it comes through, and he deserves. He's going to get $35 million plus, man. 30.
I'm gonna ask him to borrow about. I'm not even gonna ask him to borrow $5. I'm just gonna ask him for $5.
I like you started scratching your neck.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, yo, Joe Rogan. Little Chappelle show. I love it. Dave says Bosa and Watt week 1 is going to be sweet. Who has
epic
more sacks?
I think
the matchup of that game is going to be TJ Watt versus Colton McKivitz.
If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense kind of dictates that, right? Because they don't have to line them up on Trent Williams' side, and the fact that Watt can play on both sides is going to be the key. So I will say this: McKivitz is no slouch.
Nope.
So go ahead and put Watt against him. But week 1, weaker left tackle to me for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with Bosa here. And I know people think I'm going to be a homer, but I don't care.
I like it. All right. There we go. Any more questions, Clayton? We wrap it. Okay, here we go. Oh, Josh, what's up, man? He says CMC will have more receiving yards than rushing this year. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's slightly more. I think CMC is a 2,000-yard guy this year.
Gosh, man. He was pretty close to that last year. If we look at what he did last year for the Niners only, he had 746 rushing yards as opposed to 464 receiving yards. So he was a good, 280 more rushing. But we'll see. And I've got some questions lined up for CMC on our Friday show, which is going to be with Wayne on his channel. And again, if you haven't done that yet, in the description of this video, this audio platform, all those things, it's Wayne Breezy's where to subscribe to his YouTube. You got to do it, man. The dude's putting out so much content, and it's way more energy than I could ever bring, which I freaking love. Like,
your energy was on like 98 today, though. I love it.
I was pumped, man. I had a lot of coffee. Wife and kid are out of town. Me and the pup are just freaking chilling. Bachelor style, man.
Weekend at Johnny's. That's right. Yeah, let's go.
And it's funny, like, you know what I've been doing with my time? I've been watching the Animals series on Netflix. I'm like totally kicking out on like National Geographic stuff.
Hey,
like
whatever
#40. It's what
I've been watching
man.
Game shows during my little break. I've been watching Family Feud, Deal or No Deal, Price is Right. Don't know why I'm watching them. Can't figure it out to this day.
There you go. My mother-in-law, she was on Deal or No Deal back in the day.
No freaking way.
And like won like a whole like trip and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, when she was young. Yeah, she was on TV and all that stuff. And yeah, there you go.
New car.
There you go.
I just always wanted to say that. All right.
But man, this was awesome. Shout out to Clayton, man behind the scene. Just runs everything so freaking smooth. And man, so Friday, you guys, Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be on Wayne's show. You got to come hang out with us. We're going to continue this because I got a lot more topics we want to jump into. But Wayne, take us out of here. This was a lot of fun, man.
Listen, enjoy the summer. We'll be here every Tuesday and Friday. Stay strong, faithful.